As I mentioned in the previous video, I do like to crack on that I'm hardcore and just have me rehydrated meals and a muesli bar here and there and survive on that. But no, any chance I get to have a proper nice scran, I will take it in both hands. So yeah, there's a little place called the Newtonmore Grill, just round the corner from where we stayed for the night. Went there, got a bacon, sausage and egg roll. Absolutely delicious. Really cool place as well. It was like kind of one of the, American truck stops. Very old school, but in a good way. But yeah, absolutely delicious. Lovely lady there who served me. Didn't have the heart to tell her that it was a cappuccino I ordered and not the pot of tea that she brought me. But yeah, it was all good. It was nice tea anyway, so yeah, loved it. So yeah, good way to start the day. On we went. Or should I say, not exactly on we went, but obviously on I went. So this was the place where I'd left Aid in the hotel. His train was around 9:30, I think. Luckily enough, he'd managed to get a pretty cheap train ticket to take him back home to Warrington. But yeah, did feel very strange off on my own after 3 days stomping with Aid. It was, it was a very odd feeling. Stopped at the Co-op, again, literally just down the road from where we'd stayed for the night. Just needed a very small resupply. Got a butty for lunch that day, a little duck wrap thing, a couple of sausage rolls, and that was pretty much it. Aid, being the legend that he is, had give me his cig bottle full of honey Jack Daniels whiskey. So Aid, you are a superstar. So yeah, that was very much appreciated. I love honey Jack Daniels. It's got to be the nicest drink ever created. So yeah, I was looking forward to supping that later. All of it, as it'd turn out. Just leaving Newtonmore. Lovely morning. Just out of the bridge, leaving Newtonmore. It's already very lovely. Lovely jubbly. Snow seems to have gone down quite a lot. One of the famous orange markers, which I'm figuring in the East Highland Way. We've been all along the route anyway, so. Can't believe how slow on the uptake and dim, there's no other word for it, dim I am sometimes. It genuinely took me until this point to properly realise that these orange blobs that we were seeing all along the route actually were East Highland Way route markers. Honest, I am just thick as anything sometimes. Admittedly, we didn't see a huge amount of them, when the snow was really piling down and we were coming past Moy Reservoir and Loch Lagan and all that. But still, we'd seen enough of them that it really should have been obvious. And yeah, it took till day 4 for me to properly twig that that's what these things were. Absolutely incredible. Quite funny, really. Literally only a few minutes away from the road, essentially, and already, was into quite remote feeling, out in the not quite the wilderness, but yeah, felt a million miles away from the village or the town of Newtonmore very, very quickly. Amazing how that can happen. But yeah, felt good to be away from the road. So yeah, bring it on. Very much looking forward to what was going to come today. And it didn't disappoint. It was great. Quick little rest in shelter while we've got the chance. With a pretty good view. This section was slightly funny. It was kind of just a round the houses way of getting to Kingussie, really. If you look on the map, there's very little distance between Newtonmore and Kingussie. They're pretty close together. So yeah, this kind of just goes up, across and down, takes you to a lock, and it'd be my guess, not just as you've already found out that I've kind of lopped bits off the route already, but I would imagine there's quite a lot of people who've done this route who would look at it and say, nah, not going to bother with that, just walk straight onto Kingussie. But that would be a huge mistake, because this was a marvellous little detour, if that's the right word. It's not the right word at all, because it's part of the East Highland Way, so that's not the word at all. But yeah, absolutely amazing. Straight away, as I mentioned before, it just feels very wild and remote, you know, like you're genuinely in the middle of nowhere. This was a beautiful little section. The clouds and the sun just peeking through was absolutely amazing. Looked so nice. So yeah, really nice section, and a smashing start to the day. That's Loch Gynack just come into view. How well you can see it on the pictures. Loch Gynack, looking very lovely. Went past this very peaceful and tranquil Loch Gynack, I think it was called, and then it was a pretty gentle, very pretty path back down to Kingussie, or Kingussie. I'm not sure. Honestly, for any Scottish people who are watching, by the way, I'm just cringing at every time I come out with the name of a place or a lock or anything. I'm so sorry. I'm absolutely dreadful. with the pronunciations of Scottish names. If it's any consolation, me Welsh pronunciations are even worse. They're shocking. In fact, they're probably quite offensive to Welsh people. So yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean anything by it. I'm just terrible. So yeah, sorry about that. So this is the path down into Kingoosey. Quite nice, apart from the telephone wires, I think they are. Just for reference, this ain't the best bit, but there's possibly, if you needed to, bits in here where you could wild camp. There's a bit of forestry I just went back there, past on the other side, and that looked as though you might as well. I mean, even just somewhere like that there, if you moved a bit of the branches and that out the way, see there, probably wouldn't be so bad. Falling branches might be an issue, but be prepared to risk it. I'm not sure I would. I can't say I lingered at all in Kingoosey. No offence, no disrespect to anyone from Kingoosey or that neck of the woods. But I'd already had me resupply at Newtonmore. I know there's another co-op in Kingoosey if I'd needed to get something, but I didn't. So no, didn't really hang about. Pretty much just crossed the main road and away you go, out of there, past the railway station, and yeah, away. So there you are. Can't tell you much about the place, sorry. Yeah, bit of civilization to go through, which I can live without. As I say, didn't spend any time at all in Kingoosey. But didn't last too long, and soon out into the country again. So I'm figuring that's Ruthven Barracks there. Came to Ruthven Barracks. So Ruthven Barracks was built after the failed Jacobite uprising of 1715, apparently to maintain law and order. Didn't work, it seemed, though. Because there was a big Jacobite attack in 1746 and they forced the barracks surrender. It's also where the Jacobites rallied after their defeat at Culloden before conceding. So there you go. Log on to Northern Monkey Dan and you get a free history lesson as well. How good's that? That's the Cairngorms over there. That's where we're headed. We're just coming towards the end of like a little nature trail kind of thing. Really nice actually. Really pleasant little walk. All kinds of little footpaths like this through the trees. It's lovely. Headed for Drumgowish. Started to rain. Bit gutted at that. Hopefully it won't last too long.
Okay, so this is the point. Dalguish, something like that. I know I'm saying it wrong. So this is where I'm going to take a detour and go to Glen Feshy Bothy. So apologies to Kevin, the guidebook writer, if you're watching this, and I'm just bastardising your route. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So it's a fair old detour, about 7 mile. I'm sure it'll be worth it because the Bothy is amazing.
And there's that word again, bastardised. Didn't realise how much I liked it until now. Anyway, so this was, yeah, as I say in the clip, this was a big detour that Aid and I had actually planned for. So we'd been to Glen Feshy Bothy. It's actually officially got a very different name. I'll stick a clip in of it. As I mentioned before, my pronunciation of Scottish names is atrocious, so I'm not even going to attempt it. But yeah, me and Aid had been to the Glen Feshy Bothy in May 2019. We'd done a Bothy tour, and it was just out of this world. I just couldn't believe that this was a Bothy, to be frank. No disrespect to the Lake District, which I frequent all the time because I don't live that far from it. But seriously, if this place was in the Lake District, there's no way it would be a Bothy. It would be monetised in some form. I'm pretty certain you could charge £1,000 for a week to stay in this place. It's just out of this world. So yeah, we said before we came that if we'd made good time, we'd look to do a detour over there. So when we'd gone in May, loads of people were there, absolute ton of people, and basically we couldn't really fit in the Bothy. I mean, we could have done, but it'd have been, you know, squeezing other people, making them a bit uncomfortable. We had our tents with us anyway, so we just stuck them outside. But yeah, the plan was to go back and stay there. Figured it wouldn't be as busy in late January. So yeah, that's what we said we'd do. It was, as I say, a place called Drumguish. Sorry, honestly, I'm getting worse. Where I turned off, and it would involve around a 7 mile detour to get there, which isn't a huge distance over what looked like pretty easy terrain, and it turned out to be very easy terrain, just forestry tracks for the most part. Again, what's new? But yeah, very, very easy going to get there through lovely countryside, beautiful. It would involve a bit of retracing my steps the following day, but only for a couple of miles or so I could definitely live with that. And the Glen Feshy estate is just such a beautiful part of the world anyway. It honestly wouldn't be a hardship, and it wasn't a hardship the next day. It really wasn't. I really have a thing for it round there. It's magnificent. So beautiful, really is. I mean, I worked out how far I had left to go. I forget what it was off the top of my head, but ultimately I still had 3 days to do it and not a huge amount of miles to go. So I kind of had to put something else in there anyway, really. So yeah, that was the reasoning behind it. As I say, I've got no issue with, you know, doing a detour on a long distance walk. Again, Kevin, no offence to you, my friend. Yeah, just something we decided to do. But yeah, again, I know I keep saying it, but real shame that Aid wasn't with me to stay there as well, because he'd have loved it. But at least he'd given me his honey Jack Daniels. Boom. Just having a little water top up and filter. Some
minor issues here. Need to get across the river. Well, not the stream really. Just all that little bit deep. Don't really want to drench my feet. This bit looks like it might be promising. Maybe. I'm going to put the phone away anyway, because otherwise it's going to end in disaster. This is gorgeous here though. Absolutely gorgeous. Again, Cairn Gomes. Alright. Here's the bridge over the River Feshie. Pretty cool. As I understand it, there did used to be another bridge further up near to the bothy, but it washed away some time ago and wasn't replaced. Cairn Gomes. Quite spectacular. Loving it. Not far now, a little ways further and we'll be at the bothy. Let's see who's there. Ooh, exciting. Will there be room? There it is. First sighting. First sighting. Ah. Can't see any smoke coming out of the chimney. No sign of Lindsay's car, the chap who looks after the estate. Is there anyone here?
bothies. I just find these things amazing. I think they're genuinely staggering. These places in the middle of nowhere that you can just go and stay in for free. Everything in life these days seems to cost money, and usually a lot of money. So to have these things, as I say, that you can just go and crash in for the night, more often than not in the most stunning places imaginable. Yeah, I just find them unbelievable. They're just incredible. Love them to bits, as you can probably tell from me gushing. Yeah, so as I said, me and Aid did a little Scottish bothy tour in May last year. So we went right up north, went to, well, Glenfeshie was actually the first one we stayed in. Well, we didn't stay in, stayed outside, but had a fantastic night, honest, just brilliant people there. And another night of drinking whiskey into the wee hours. But yeah, walked in, Lindsay had a brew ready for us the second we walked through the door. Unbelievable. Yeah, so that was the first one we stayed. Went right up north, stayed in one called Strabeg, which was phenomenal as well. Quite a remote place. It wasn't too far to walk from the car, but that was brilliant. Stayed just me and Aid on that one. Nobody else turned up. Went on to Sualaig Bothy, which isn't far from Suilven, the iconic mountain Suilven. Went up Suilven, which was one of me. The main thing of it was we wanted to do a bothy tour, but I did say that I was going up Suilven. That mountain had been in my head for a long time. It did not disappoint. It absolutely didn't disappoint. It was just stunning. So yeah, that bothy, a little bit ramshackle to be fair, that one. But in terms of its location, just beyond belief. Went on to Chenaval, a very, very popular bothy. I'm not surprised. It's in between Anchelac and the Fisherfield forest and the mountains there. Very in the middle of nowhere, that one. It was funny because we took a shed load of wood, basically just filled our rucksacks up with wood. I had one on my front as well, and everything. And decided not to take the tents, which you really shouldn't ever do. We came over the top of the hill kind of thing, look down, and what do we see? There's about 7 tents already outside the bothy. Oh my God. It was a heck of a trip to get there. Aid doesn't moan very often when he's walking, but he was moaning on this one. It was only like 5 mile as well. He thought we'd done 10. But anyway, they made us room. In fact, we were kind of greeted like heroes because we'd brought all this wood. There was no wood there at all, so we were very popular. And again, got pretty drunk that night too. Great stuff. On to Craig Bothy, another superb bothy. It's kind of right down past Leothac and Benaliggin, down that way. Superb. It was an old youth hostel, I believe, but apparently people didn't like the 2 miles that they had to walk in. There's no road over there, and yeah, about 2 miles to get there, but phenomenal. Invermally was the last bothy we went to on that trip. Phenomenal place again. Really well kept, that one. Really well kept. So I mean, most of them were. They all were really. But yeah, done other ones when we attempted the Sky Trail. Me and Ali, we stayed at Camasuneri Bothy, which was a massive highlight. It was so cool. The weather was pretty bad as well, most of the time while we were there, as I mentioned in video 1. So that was a great night and really appreciated the shelter. done various ones in England and Wales. There's a lovely one in the lakes, one scale head bother, tiny, but the view from there is just to die for. It really is to die for. Wales done some as well. Yeah, I just genuinely have a real thing, a real love affair with bothies. I find them, yeah, I'm going to shut up because I'm just wittering on about how much I love them, but I do. Vastly different to the last time I arrived at the Glenfeshie Bothy. To when I arrived there, the like chairs were up on the side. It kind of looked like it was closed for the winter sort of thing. There was a chap in the back room who'd been there since Monday. I think was it Wednesday or Thursday? Well, Wednesday I got there, and I was the first person he'd seen. Been nobody there at all. So yeah, very different to the previous time. He'd had a nice stay there, apart from he'd not really been able to get the fire going, he said. And I got lucky there. This chap was literally packing up to leave as I arrived. And then a chap called Sam arrived with his dog Gus. And Sam, it turned out, was a genuine expert at getting fires going. And he really was. He didn't mess about with his fire. Went and got some wood. He knew about his wood and everything. He kind of, you know, knew the right branches and this to get. So got some collected, and that fire went all night. Fair play to Sam. Good on him. He did well. Really lovely guy. Really lovely guy. We chatted through the night. We demolished the Honey Jack Daniels that Aid had given to us, and then we started on the single malt whiskey. I kind of tend not to mess about with the booze that I take with me on a trip. I certainly ensure that I don't run out. I'm making it sound like an alcoholic or something, which I'm not, or am I? No, I'm not. But yeah, I like to make sure I've got plenty of booze with me. Yeah, and we got through quite a bit of it. Stayed up till, I don't know, I think it was 1:30, maybe heading for 2 before we got our heads down. But had a fantastic night, and yeah, made that 7-mile detour very, very much worthwhile. Great call, if I do say so myself. I don't know what that was either. Look at the setting there. Stunning. All told, another absolutely brilliant day. As I keep repeating, definitely a massive shame that Aid wasn't there to share it with us. But no, had a superb day. Really enjoyed it, and looking forward to day 5. Yeah, really looking forward to it.